In this video, we're going to learn a very useful skill that is going to help you every time that you learn Chumash. And that is that if you look carefully at the words, you will see that besides the letters, there's obviously the vowels, but there's also something else. There's these little signals that appear in almost every word in the Torah. That is not in the actual Sefer Torah, they're not placed there, but in a printed Chumash, you will see that there's little notes on almost every word. Here there is one, here there is one. This word does not have one. This word has a musical note. Here there is one. And these notes are in Hebrew are called ta'amim. In Yiddish, we often call them Troups. And what they do is they serve the following purposes. Number one, they tell us the melody. Each word has a melody that we apply to it. It also tells us which part of the word to emphasize. For example, is it Avram or Avram? So since the note is at the end, it's Avram. But the thing that we need to use for our class, that we need to know, is that these signals help us divide a pasuk into phrases. Not all of them are stops. On the contrary, some of them are connectors. But some of them are assigned to stop, like a comma or a colon and so on. So for example, the proper way to read this pasuk is Vayomer Hashem el Avram, stop. Lech lecha me'artzecha memuladetcha umeveit avicha, stop. El haaretz asher areka, because that's obviously the end of the pasuk. So by learning this skill, it's going to make our learning a lot easier. And all we have to know is that we're going to focus on 5 of them that are stops. That's it. There's 5 of these signals that are stop. So now we're going to focus on them. We're going to go over them and make sure that you're comfortable with them, and we're going to practice them. And you'll see that once we do it 3-4 times, it's just going to be like riding a bicycle. You'll see them all the time. It will make things a lot easier for you as you learn the psukim, because obviously it's much easier to translate these 4 words than to translate the whole pasuk. So for example, here I circled the ones that are stops. The 2 dots above the word Avram, and this looks like a wishbone under the word Avicha. Notice that these words also have these drops, these ta'amim, but they're not stops. So we don't need to know these ones. Here there's also notes, but those are not stops. So these are the full set of stops that you need to know. That's it. Once you know these notes, these are the stops. The other ones are not. So pretend that these boxes represent words. So when you see 2 dots with a line, that's a stop. When you see a dot, which is really a diamond on top, or if you see 2 dots or 3 dots, all of these appear above the words. Or if you see a wishbone, right, under the word, this is the one that appears below the word. And of course, the 2 dots or the 2 diamonds that are at the end of the pasuk that we already know from 5th and 4th grade. So this is the stops, and it's easy to remember. Dots, whether it's 1, 2, 2 or 3, and the wishbone. Those are the stops that you need to know. Okay, so here's looking up pasuk without any indications where to stop. Ve'escha legoy gadol, va'varechecha, va'gadla shemecha, ve'yeh bracha. And here's the same pasuk, but I have marked for you the stops. So we would read it like this: Ve'escha legoy gadol. The 2 dots are a stop. So we would translate these 3 words. And then we continue. Va'varechecha, stop, because of the 2 dots again. Va'gadla shemecha, the wishbone, so we stop and translate these words. And then we continue till the end. Ve'yeh bracha. Okay? Okay, this is a pasuk that is well known to you. Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha bechol levavecha vechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha. Now let's see it with the stops. Ve'ahavta, because of the 2 dots, so I would divide it, and this is what I would ask you to do. When I ask you to divide a pasuk, you'll find the stop, and right after that word, you're going to make a line. So I know to translate this word by itself. Ve'ahavta, stop. Et Hashem Elokecha, the wishbone, so that's a stop. V'chol levavecha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol meodecha, and that's the end of the pasuk. Okay, one last exercise. And here we're going to see one of the notes that we haven't seen before. Ve'aya lachem letzitzit. Here are the three dots. And therefore we would make a line. Uritem oto, the diamond, stop. Uzchartem et kol mitzvot Hashem, two dots, that's a stop. Vasitem otam, the wishbone, so we stop. Velo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem, the two dots, and we stop. Asher atem zonim achareihem, the end of the pasuk. So again, when I ask you to divide a pasuk, now you know what to look for. And little by little, we're going to master this skill. In a few weeks, you'll be pros, and it will be much easier for you to read and translate a pasuk.